calcite, all the crystals, all the rocks forming. The reason why the oils, the acids, the creams that we wear on our skin will be left behind, and they stop the crystals from forming. So just help us to look after what's your cave as well. And just a quick acknowledgement of our Noongar people, the Whadjuk and the Ewits, the original custodians to this very ancient land we meet on today. Our first conservationists, we'll talk about that when we're in the cave a bit deeper. Welcome to the very first chamber. This is what we call the annex, and we actually stand about 9 metres under the ground here. We'll get to a depth today of around 17 metres under the ground. So it's actually quite a shallow deposit of limestone that we're actually inside of. If you don't know what this was before it became a cave, it's actually a very, very old sand dune, an ancient sand dune. So we see all of our sand dunes along our coast. Over time, as the rainwater filters through these sand dunes, it dissolves down mainly the calcium. Remember, it's made up of prawns and crabs and coral and shell, and all of that is crushed up, creating a sand dune. So the water passes it by, dissolves down the calcium, lots of time, lots of pressure. Guys, it's a little bit low through here. It's a beautiful calcite along the way.
Slope here.
Henry would have actually crawled through that little stream bed down there, climbed over this set of rocks here, and then he's looking again for the water because he knows where the water is. That's the natural floor of the cave, so it doesn't go any deeper from there. So we don't see water now, but this would have been the stream that would have been here. So Henry would have had to crawl underneath there to get to the next chamber. Welcome to the Pantheon. This is a 25-metre long chamber by 12 metres in width. So if you notice that small passageway back there, that's where Henry's crawled back out through into this chamber, and he says that in his notes he can't actually see how large this chamber is. So he starts to investigate, and he certainly starts to set off some magnesium strip, and that lights up this chamber really quickly.
Oh wow, is that water?
Yeah, I thought it was a big hole in the ground.
Yeah, same.
Yeah. Well, I'd like to tell you it's the upside down. But I'm going to spoil it for you really quickly. It is actually a shallow pond. Okay? It is actually what we've created. The water naturally came right up from beneath the ground. So this water, when I was about 10 years of age, I used to come into the cave, and they used to hand out a straw. It was called the Lake of Life, the Fountain of Youth. I'm really 100 years of age now. It is actually where the fresh water used to sit right up in the cave, and now as the water tables have been falling, it sits 2.5 metres below this cave floor. So we know there's many contributing factors as to why our water tables are falling. Would you believe a lack of rainfall is a really big part? We haven't seen the water that we normally see in winter. Pine plantations, market gardens, all water systems, new estates and population growth. 2.1 million people in Perth now. 10 buckets of water a day, 100 litres per person per day. Just stand still for a minute. If you want to take a photo, stop for a minute and then take a photo for you guys. Don't worry about this. The crew don't go do the same to you. But a beautiful reflection over that surface of water really does make you feel like you could walk into a whole other part of the cave. But this water is super important because what it does is it produces a really high humidity and it allows this condensation to keep the crystals active from the inside rather than relying on the rainwater from the outside. So I'm doing a bit of monitoring here. It actually tells me how much water is coming through from the surface, especially after our winter period. I don't use it for extra calcium. The pH level sits at about 8.6, so quite alkaline, so that tells us there's more conditions that are really good here for more crystal growth. So looking up, it looks like diamond ceilings, really quite pretty. So that is all from that body of water, because if we were to pour the water into the sand, it would just filter right down to the aquifer. The water needs to stay exposed to produce that high humidity. And then some rock rings down the bottom here. So rock ring is what we do inside of our caves. If we see potential for growth on the ground, we can see where these water droplets are landing. More crystals will form here eventually. So I test that water to see what the pH level is and see just how much water is coming through from the surface. So hopefully our children's children will see some study tonight. And then the colour difference again. So the orange colour you see, iron oxide from the big trees, that red sap that comes from the trees, the water will collect that and deliver it right into the calcite. The lighter, the whiter they are, the purer in calcium they are. So it's really dependent on what that water has passed by as it filters down into the cave. Now, I'll just let you know, this is the last time that we're actually in the Pantheon, so if you do any photographs, now is your chance. Before we move on, we won't